Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let us renew our religion, refresh our religion, renew our shahadat. Saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The shahadat, it is the most valuable and most precious thing for believers. The shahadat is what you should be looking at every day. Many people coming to say, please pray that I will increase my iman. Or people asking, how do I know if my faith is increased? People who are not in tariqat maybe. They may ask those questions. People in tariqat should not be. Murids should not be. Why? Because the answer has already been given over and over again. There is a gauge for everything. There is a gauge, not one gauge, so many gauges when you're driving a car. From the oil to the gas, you have gauges. What is a gauge for a believer? What is a gauge for a Muslim? What is the gauge for murid? How do you gauge yourself? It is not to say, please pray that I increase my iman. Tomorrow that you see, your iman is increased. What does it mean, increasing your iman? What does it mean to protect and to look at your shahadat and to take that shahadat and use that shahadat as a gauge? All you need to do is ask yourself. All we need to do is to ask ourselves. Today, yesterday, last week, last month, last year. First ask ourselves, today. The gauge is the shahadat, saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Believing in Allah, no other ilahs. And believing that the way to become a servant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to follow the Holy Prophet ﷺ. That is the only way. So that shahadat is a gauge. Today, then sit down and just ask yourself, did I live my today according to the shahadat or not? That's all. You don't have to read too much. You don't have to listen too much. You don't have to have a saint or a scholar to explain anything to you. You, by yourself, sincerely, you're going to ask, today, did I live according to the shahadat? Was I busy with Allah? Was I busy with the intentions and the actions to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And did I get rid of other ilahs except for Allah? Other objects of worship other than Allah? And ask, did I live today according to the way that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he has shown me or not? Simple. Don't enter into mysticism, spirituality. Start humble. Start easy. Start with something that you can understand and achieve. Say to yourself, did I live today for the sake of my Lord, according to that shahadat, or not? That is your gauge. Your shahadat is your gauge. Then that time be sincere and you will know. Look at your actions. Look at your intentions. Look at what lies behind those actions. A man may be getting up, working hard, but he gets up with the intention to please his Lord. He prays, he goes to work to fulfill his responsibility as a family, as a head of the family, as a son, as a worker, as a father, to live clean. That person, now his work, because it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's watching that when he's doing his work, it is pleasing to his Lord, meaning he's not going to lie and cheat and oppress people. He's not going to take anyone's rights in the work that he's doing that time. Who can say that that work is not a worship? It is a worship, that work. Because he's making that work to be beautiful. He's making that work to have what? To have ihsan. And what is ihsan? To know that Allah is watching you. And to behave as if you are watching Allah. Because what did Holy Prophet ﷺ say? What is Islam? What is Iman? What is Ihsan? According to the hadith of Jibril alayhi salam, Ihsan, to worship Allah as if you see Him. And if you don't see Him, to know that He sees you. So now the work that you are doing, with the full knowledge that Allah is watching you, and you're trying to keep according to the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and according to the way that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he has shown to us. Your day is spent in worship. Maybe you may not know so much religion. Maybe you will not know so much ilm. Maybe you will not be praying too much or making zikr too much. But because you're always behaving and acting as if, not as if, you're behaving to please your Lord, knowing that your Lord is looking at you, that time your day is passed according to Islam. Your day is passed according to Iman. Your day is passed according to Ihsan. And your day is passed trying to keep that shahadat. You can be a shepherd or a king. You can be a factory worker or a president. You're watching, same principle. You're watching that Allah is watching it, and you're doing everything to please Allah according to the way of the Prophet ﷺ. That time it becomes beautiful. That time your iman is high. Your gauge is working good, and you're seeing your faith is high. But a man who's not doing too much of this worldly work, let's say, he's spending a lot of time reading Quran, spending a lot of time reading and memorizing hadith. He's spending a lot of time making the zikr. But he's spending all this time of ibadat, but he's spending the time of ibadat and without sincerity, doing it so that others are going to look at them and say, oh, what a holy person you are. What a knowledgeable person you are. Doing all this ibadat, but the heart is not in it. It's circling around everywhere else, but saying Allah, Allah, Allah. Reading the Quran, but not understanding what the Quran is saying and applying it to your life. Memorizing, but just memorizing so that when someone asks, you know what it is to argue with each other. Possibility that time, that ibadat that you're doing is less beautiful in the presence of Allah than that one who's not making too much ibadat, but is doing worldly work, but is keeping Allah and His Prophet alive in his heart. If he's keeping Allah and His Prophet alive in his heart, that becomes a worship. But if you are doing worship without keeping Allah and His Prophet alive in your heart, doing things in ghaflat or for the sake of the ego, before it passes, awliya Allah saying, Sahib saying, before it passes from the first paradise, angels have already taken it and thrown it back to your face. So now we have the shahadat. Look at the shahadat. Daily look and ask, did I live my life today according to the shahadat? If you are busy with that, then shaitan will not be busy with you. If you are busy with that, then the awliya Allah, they will be busy with you. That time, you will spend your life in ease. Things will start working for you without you pushing so hard, because you believe. You believe in Allah. You believe in Allah because every day you're watching. This is what I'm doing. Ya Rabbi, I'm doing this for you. Some things coming to you from shaitan and ego, and you say, Ya Rabbi, I'm a weak one. Please help me, protect me. You're in constant communication, constant dialogue, constantly you are with your Lord. Then before you know it, things will start working for you with ease. And you will realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jalla wa ala, subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking care of you. Who are we that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is personally taking care of us? Not even the mayor of our town is taking care of us. Not even the president is taking care of us personally, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending His beloved servants to always be taking care of us. Whatever they need, provide. Whatever they don't need, don't provide. Inshallah, we will keep our shahadat alive. The important thing, to spend time and to start thinking. What we're saying always, tafakkur. To start thinking. To start thinking about your life, thinking about your day, thinking about your Lord. Once you have tafakkur, muraqaba, rabita, this comes easy. But don't lie and cheat to yourself. Get rid of other ilahs except for Allah. And don't follow any other way except for the way of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Amin. Allah tawfiq al-Fatiha.